Do all religions lead to God? Many people, I think, feel that it's a much fairer way to proceed, right? We live in a world with all these different religions all around us. If you want to be a Buddhist, that's great for you. If you want to be a Hindu or a Muslim or a Christian, pick the religion that works for you, because every path leads to God. What could possibly be wrong with that? If you're thinking that, or you've heard somebody say that, I wonder if it's ever occurred to you that not every religion claims to lead to God. For example, in Buddhism claims that if you follow the path of the Buddha, then you can eventually actually lose and shed your own personal identity and just get kind of absorbed into the cosmic oneness. Hinduism teaches something similar. There is no personal God to be encountered. Really, the goal of Hinduism is effectively personal annihilation. And many Eastern religions are modeled on the same kind of idea. So okay, what about the world's second biggest religion? What about Islam? Surely that claims to lead you to God. Well, actually it doesn't. If you read the Quran carefully, you'll discover that yes, it talks about paradise, and yes, it talks about the afterlife, but it's described in terms of very kind of physical pleasures. The Quran talks about beautiful fruit trees, rivers of wine, crystal clear fountains of water, young women there for men to enjoy. But God is very much absent. And as you study the great religions and the great faith traditions of the world, you discover that actually only one religion actually claims to lead you to God. And that's the Christian faith. Because the Bible makes this tremendous promise that for those who put their faith, their trust in Jesus and are put into right relationship with God, that relationship that begins now will carry on into eternity. We're promised that once again, as it was in the very beginning of creation, we will walk and talk with God, enjoying close relationship and intimacy with Him. And that's hugely important, actually. Why is that important? Well, when many people think about heaven, they tend to think of heaven as being a bit like the Quran's idea. They sort of think, well, if there is a heaven, it's sitting around partying forever, wine and food and song. That would be wonderful, right? Well, yes, but the parties are great because they have a beginning, they have a middle, and they have an end. I've just come to the end of the Christmas season as I record this. I went to some great parties, had some great time with friends and family, but I'm glad those parties only lasted for a few hours, because a party that went on and on and on for days, weeks, months, years, decades, centuries, I think I'd get bored very, very quickly. As human beings, we tend to. And in fact, the great playwright and literary figure Oscar Wilde once said, recognizing this problem for us as human beings, he said the greatest tragedy in a person's life comes not when they're weary of suffering, but when they are bored of pleasure. We need something greater to satisfy us. Our hearts were made for more than just a party in the sky. Our hearts were set on eternity. In fact, the Bible says God has placed eternity into the hearts of men and women. Well, that is what is on offer in the Christian faith, because it promises us in the last book of the Bible, Revelation chapter 21, that the dwelling of God will be with human beings and we will dwell with Him. He will be our God and He will wipe away every tear from our eye. What the Bible offers is encounter and relationship with the God who made us that can begin now when we put our faith in Jesus and are welcomed into God's family and lasts into eternity. That's what I am looking forward to. And that offer of that relationship, that encounter with God is only offered and only promised in the Christian faith. Uniquely, it's the only offer on the table.